Back to our recruitment series. I'm here today with Cammie Welton. Cammie, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
We're gonna start off with a few questions about your recruitment process. Sorry, just give me a sec. So what were your initial expectations when you considered playing at a collegiate level for either yourself or the schools that you were looking into?
I didn't really have a whole lot. I didn't know anything really when it came to playing like D3 or just soccer in general. My coach that I like at my club team really helped me a lot, and then he just said out of all the schools that were trying to recruit me, that Lesley was going to be probably the best choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What was the communication like between you and the other schools that you were interested in? You mentioned that you were like in contact with the Lesley coach, but what was that communication like with the other schools?
It was just mainly emails. I got a couple of phone calls. They didn't, Leslie, the coach, or my coach, he really just kept, calling me like once a month. He was the only coach that really like tried to stay in contact with me, even if I wouldn't or even in the beginning when I didn't express too much interest in the school. He was the only one that kept trying to maintain a relationship.
Yeah, that's especially important to like make sure that like your coach is as invested in you as you are in the school and you are in them. And it's good that he was making that effort to keep showing his interest.
Yeah.
Did you have a signing day, and like what was that like for you? Did you have any concerns going into it?
Yeah, I had a signing day at my school, but at my school, I don't know, it was really weird. None of the papers were like official or anything. It was more just so like friends, family, and like photos. So I don't know. It was super weird because I felt like all the other girls at my school that were committing to like D1 schools, they all had like a pretty official thing, but for my school, there wasn't like really a whole bunch of paperwork to do, so it was just for photos.
Mm-hmm. Were there like other D3 schools there, like when you were signing?
Yeah, but they were more well known and had a bigger population than Lesley, so they just had more official stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, was there anything you wish you could have done differently in regards to your recruiting process?
Yeah, I do. I definitely think I was just very I didn't really care where I went to school. I just wanted to be as far away as home. And I wish that I looked at more schools because Lesley was the only one that I really visited and applied to and did all of the college stuff. And I just wish in the beginning, not that it would it might have changed my mind, but I just wish looking back I would have given other schools more attention,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, it also might have helped you like maybe hone down like what exactly you were looking for in a school, all that.
Yeah,
And that's like
exactly.
really important for like other people who are like going through this process really like figure out what they want. And I know
Yeah.
that like visiting schools right now is not necessarily an option, but like still doing what you can to like see what's out there is really important.
Yeah.
What was the most challenging part of your recruiting process?
Um, the most challenging, I guess I committed way earlier than everyone else in my class. And it was just kind of, I don't know, it was super I really just felt like it all happened so quickly, which I guess was the most difficult part because none of it was necessarily difficult, but that was just really hard for me because when I became a senior, all my other friends were going to all these really crazy schools, and I was like, well, I can't even look at those ones I've already committed. So I guess that would be the most difficult part about the whole recruitment thing, is that it all just happens so fast.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it out of the way like pretty early, but then like you didn't get to like go through that your senior year like,
Exactly.
with all your other friends. So it kind of felt like, I don't know, like it must have felt like a little bit out of place for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and what in-person recruiting events did you attend, and how did that shift your opinion of where you wanted to attend?
Um, I don't think I attended any official ones. I came over this summer just to look at the school, and the coach like drove me around and stuff like that. And then I came in October of 2018, and I like stayed with the girls in the dorms, and I went to a game, and that was pretty much it. But I already committed by then. So yeah, that was the only, and then orientation, but I guess that doesn't really count.
Yeah, I know that like overnight stays are a huge deal at schools. Like my school does them, we're a D3 school, and I know the pandemic right now is like you can't really necessarily do that. So it's good that you were at least like able to get a feel for the school after you committed, but that's not necessarily an option right now, which is really hard for a lot of people going through this process right now. And how has the pandemic impacted like your time at Lesley? Like on the soccer team, did you guys get to play this year?
No, we didn't, and it's terrible. We got to practice for like 2 months, like in October and November, but even then it was like you had to be in like little pods and little groups, and that was really annoying. And then we were hoping that we were going to get a season in spring, and we didn't get that because of COVID, and it's really difficult.
Yeah, Emerson, our soccer teams didn't get to play either. Like none of our fall sports or our winter sports got to play. Our spring sports are competing, but like I don't even know how long that's gonna last. Like we've already had a couple games canceled because of COVID, but hopefully, like I don't know if your school is doing spring sports, but hopefully like with D3 schools opting into spring sports seasons, that hopefully that will bode well for you guys in the fall, and you'll be able to finally compete again after 2 years, which is kind of crazy. And then finally, do you have any advice for people who are going through that recruiting process right now who, like, you know, their high school might not be able to play, like you might not be able to go visit the colleges you're interested in person, like meet the coaches in person, and you might not be able to get the full feel of the school? Like, what would you have, like, what advice would you have for students going through this process right now?
My advice would be, I know that a lot of schools now, they have like virtual tours where you can do all that. I don't know, like just look into as many schools that you can, I guess, and really explore your options. And I feel like at every school, basically, you can always find connections, like a brother or like a close friend of a friend who goes there who could like tell you how it is and all that stuff. But I could not imagine going through that whole process and not being able to like visit or meet people. That'd be really hard.
Like as you mentioned though, like connections though right now are extremely important, because you never know like where any connection might lead you. Like you never know, like if you're talking to one school and they know a coach at another school, or like you never, like you just really never know. So like definitely exploring all of your options is super important, but also like keeping connections with those, like keeping communication with those connections, because you never know where that might lead. But that was those are all my questions. You had some really great advice. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.